Part of me still can't believe I was crazy enough to do a sprint triathlon at 21 weeks pregnant. When I say it out loud, it sounds insane, but I'm kind of going to rewind to why I decided to stick to this race. So at the end of 2021, I was stoked on life. I had just done my first Ironman, second Ironman, even did one with shingles. Felt like a total badass who could conquer the world. But I knew we had a really big goal of starting a family. So the goal was to play in the first 6 months of the year. I had local sprint tri that was a warm-up, and the LA tri was always going to be my big peak race. We were incredibly lucky, and I got pregnant quite quickly. So I was pretty much going to be 5 months pregnant on race day. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know how anything was going to feel. But that was a big goal. Of course, we played a fun little game of me overcommitting myself again. Leading into the race, I was in St. George. I was 2 states away. Thursday, spent 7.5 hours driving to get home from St. George. It was about Saturday at noon. I still hadn't packed a single thing. So that was probably not the wisest of all decisions for me. So from there, I packed about as quickly as I could. Packed my wetsuit, didn't know if I could fit in it. Packed my gravel bike. We literally didn't even come out of cars. I went straight from our car we drove to St. George in to the car we were driving to LA. Packed all my run stuff incredibly quickly, and I definitely forgot a few things. And got in the car, and the traffic was on our side, and we only had 2 hours to get to LA. So we went straight to the hotel, checked in, walked over to the expo. Finish line. Run out.
Run out into a truck.
No, you don't run straight into the truck.
I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright. And for the first time in a long time, I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows. And we're all going life, still nobody knows. But I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.
Fast forward to race morning. I was at transition at 4:30. Transition closed at 5:45, even though I wasn't going to start for another hour. So I just needed to get all my stuff set up. Changed my whole setup. Couldn't put my helmet on my aero bars. A little different than I'm used to. Then had to start the mission of getting the wetsuit on. Was quite pleasantly surprised. Took some adjusting, but fit in like a charm. But the wetsuit dance was about twice as long as it normally is. My wetsuit is tight. And it's really early. And I'm glad it's the last early try I have in pregnancy because mornings aren't my friend. But It looks fun. It's a variety of people. There's like the PTO and hardcores, and then there's like commuter bikes. So that should be fun. The water's not terrible. Surface isn't bad. And hanging out. Went in the water, tested it out, and pretty much my turn to get going came up quite quickly. The swim had some interesting moments. Start was down a steep sand embankment. There was a sandbar. Walked halfway out, pretty much past the breakers. But then the moment I started swimming, I realized something that happens in every race. I get kicked, which is totally fine. It's part of open water swimming. But when you're pregnant, all of a sudden you're terrified that you're gonna get kicked in the stomach. Last thing I want was someone to kick me. So I just hung out in my clear water, did my thing, did some winding. I mean, I think I went 150 meters extra. Got to the water's edge, and the announcer proudly proclaimed that I was ready to go to the next leg because my wetsuit was already half off. Little did he know, I just wanted that thing off for extra room as quickly as I possibly could. So I'm done.
All right. Good job, love.
Best part about the bike, I rode my gravel bike. Focus on cadence. It's kind of a gradual uphill on the whole bike. Just enjoyed actually seeing a part of LA I hadn't seen and being on wide open lanes in Los Angeles. When does that ever happen? It's awesome to kind of have the road to yourself. I didn't even know how long the bike course was. So had a blast out there, and then I was happy to get off. I knew where the run was, but I haven't actually ran it. And it's pretty funny how much hills change when you're running it versus when you're driving it. 1 mile down. It's hilly. That's okay. So the very beginning was kind of a gradual hill, and then started to get to the big hills. I always knew I would probably have a run walk plan for this race, and that totally continued. Whenever I do a run walk, if a race is having some challenges, or counting's the best way for me. All I'm focusing on is my steps, and that's a set number. So I set myself goals and I do a routine. I would do 50 steps walking, try 100 steps running. Definitely had to take a pee break. Wasn't happening. It was on the last downhill. So it was basically an up, down, and back. It was one of the longest 5Ks of my life. And it was brutal. Ran myself to the finish line. At the finish, I had an awesome surprise. One of my girlfriends had come to watch me race. Some surprises for the little guy. I highly recommend this race to anybody. It was really fun. I'm gearing up for my very, very last race activity of pregnancy. Next race coming up, 2 days. Carlsbad 5,000.